The coxal joint is the body's second largest weight-bearing joint.
It is a ball and socket joint that connects the femur to the pelvis.
The hip joint is extremely stable and allows for a large range of motion.
The femur's head articulates with the pelvis by fitting into the acetabellum, which is the concave area within the pelvis.
To create smooth movements between the femoral head and acetabellum, there's a durable layer of articular cartilage that acts as a pillow for the bones.
The labrum is also significant when it comes to joint stability. It's a layer of cartilage that makes the socket deeper by covering the acetabellum.
There are three main ligaments involved in the flexibility of the joint.
The iliofemoral ligament connects the front of the joint, keeping the hip from hyperextension.
The pubofemoral ligament attaches to the most forward part of the pelvis.
And the ischiofemoral ligament attaches to the lower part of the pelvis.
The muscle groups involved are the gluteals, quadriceps, iliopsoas, hamstrings, and groin muscles.
These various muscles cover the hip joint and produce hip movements.
All of the large ligaments, muscles, and tendons surrounding the hip joint get grouped together and are called the joint capsule.
Movements involving the coxal joint include walking,
running, kicking a ball, sitting, standing, jumping,
and the list goes on and on.
Now for animals. The pelvic region and hip joint help to perform some of the great tasks, but varies greatly too.
Let's look at a frog, a gorilla, and a turtle. A frog has a femur for support, like humans, but a frog's pelvis slides up and down its spine to aid in jumping. Humans don't have that ability.
Gorillas have a much wider and elongated pelvic region attached to a femur, which prevents the gorilla from remaining upright for too long.
Our hip joint allows us to stand as long as we want, but theirs is so much longer, making them walk with their hands and feet.
The turtle also has a femur which articulates with the pelvis, but the shape is very different. The femur is very short and the pelvic bones fuse together when they get older.
Enough about animals. Let's get back to us. Injuries, they happen, whether we like it or not.
Bursitis is inflammation of the fluid-filled sacs that lubricate the joints. This swelling can cause pain and aching in the hip and thigh. It can be caused by any activity that forces the tendons to slide over the bone.
A labral tear deals with damage to the cartilage that surrounds the socket of the pelvis.
This is most likely to occur in the early stages of osteoarthritis or by an injury, such as a fall, that twists the joint.
Snapping hip syndrome is the most common in gymnasts, runners, weightlifters, and soccer players because of the rigorous use of the joint.
It occurs when the connective tissues supporting the hip thicken and actually catch as they slide back and forth along the top of the femur.
Dislocations,
hip breaks,
and fractures are also injuries that most people know about because a grandma, grandpa, or older relative had it happen due to their old age.
A coxal injury could even happen to a friend, a coach, a teammate, or even a sibling due to a tragic accident.
Just remember to be careful.
be careful, be careful, be careful.
Just remember to be careful. But other than that, have fun and use your coxal joint to its full ability because that's the way God made it.
That's why God made it.
That's why God made it.
That's why God made it.
That's the way God made it.
because that's why God made it.